have a public hearing. Persons are reminded that this session is being recorded on tape for the preservation of records, and you are being asked when called upon to give your name, address, and interest in the matter before the council. That matter is discussion of a charter amendment, Resolution 2002-02, lots of twos, a resolution for the purpose of updating the minimum costs of a purchase or a contract is required to go through the bid process. Apparently, we've had a $10,000 limit since the code was written in the 70s. And so there's been a little bit of inflation, so we're going to take that 10 and move it to 20. And that's the purpose of the charter amendment. Does anybody want to speak about that? I'll give you 3 seconds. Not unusual that nobody would want to. All right, we've done our due diligence. We had a public hearing related to the charter amendment, which I believe is probably on the agenda for later today. Mm-hmm. Yep. So, all right, we'll close the public hearing and go right into the mayor and town council meeting. Please rise for the opening prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance. Dear Lord, we submit ourselves to you as your servants and the servants of the people of Hampstead who've placed their trust in us. Please allow every word that is spoken and every action taken to be in the best interest of Hampstead, for everyone gathered here tonight to be a stabilizing influence in these unsettled times. O Lord, bless this meeting and our town. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Tammy?
Mayor Nevin?
Here.
Councilwoman Barrett?
Here.
Councilwoman Painter?
Here.
Councilman Thomas?
Here.
Councilman Unglesby?
Here.
And Councilman Zolman?
Here.
Okay, minute approvals from the council meeting on April 12th.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. And Tammy, your report.
As I say every month, our commercial and residential projects are moving forward. We are currently working on several different site plans and business prospects. Staff continues to attend meetings with the new management team of the old North Carroll High School property. The owner is now working with Coppermine as the new management company for the site. Local Hampstead residents, Ron Schewers and Terry Leatherwood, are overseeing the facilities, fields, and gyms at the property. We have completed the public works agreement for Ridge Engineering and will send it to them for signature. They hope to break ground soon. And I just wanted to give everybody a reminder that Hampstead Day is next Saturday, May 21st, from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. So Main Street will be closed to vehicle traffic from 482 to Shiloh Avenue. But there'll be a shuttle bus running from Old North Carroll High School for overflow parking. So it's not this Saturday, it's next Saturday. So the Finance Department, we continue working on the implementation of our new software system, but the budget has been priority, of course, for the past month. Our public budget workshop scheduled for Tuesday, May 17th at 7 p.m. There are a couple issues that need to be addressed with our new payroll system pertaining to our leave balances. They're not pulling from the leave balances. So any staff that's in attendance tonight, it'll be adjusted eventually. But the system, it's a good system, it's working well. And we will switch for our financial system, we will switch the utilities module of our new financial system for our water billing on July 1st. They are currently building our code enforcement module where we'll be able to better track our code violations. Human Resources has been working on a fillable online job application. We hope that the ability to complete the application online will assist in attracting more applicants. For our website redesign, the design piece is completed. Current content's being edited, and we are exploring the website in a test environment so we can prepare to go live within the next month. Hampstead Merchants Association hosted a lunch meeting last week where Haven Shoemaker presented a legislative update, and the Hampstead Merchants Association will conduct a walking tour of the downtown Main Street area this Thursday, started at 11 a.m. We will visit the businesses and learn a bit of history about some of the properties. And again, reminders to everybody, next month's council meeting is 1 week earlier due to the annual MML conference being held earlier on June 12th through June 15th. So next month's council meeting will be Tuesday, June 7th at 7 p.m.
two things.
7 p.m. or
some of the
7:30?
signs around town say 8 to 4. They're left are old signs for Hampstead Day. They moved up the stop time to 3 o'clock because there's never anybody around for the last hour anyway.
Oh, that's right, they're probably old banners.
Yeah, they are. That's all right. So,
The council meeting's really starting at 7 on the 7th?
Oh, 7:30, shoot, 7:30.
Okay.
thank you. Yeah, same time, moved up a week.
We'd start at 7, have the public hearing on the budget.
Yeah, there'll be lots of discussion, I'm sure. Not so much. We normally go to Maryland Municipal League Summer Conference the last week in June, but the primary elections are supposed to be the last week of June, but because of the lack of formalized districts, because everything was challenged, the judges moved the primary date back to July, something in the middle of the month. So not very unusual to have a primary in the middle of July, but that's what Maryland has. But our can't obviously change a summer conference that quickly, so it's early. It moved up this year. All right, oversights. Diane?
Okay, the Farmers Market held its annual Vendors Appreciation Luncheon on April 30th at Greenmount Station. The new vendors in attendance introduced themselves to the group and described what they will be selling. Chuck Mushaw of Birchview Vineyards gave a presentation on building and maintaining customer relationships, which was informative and engaging. It generated some good discussions among the vendors, and it was great to see them sharing ideas for the overall success of the market and for each other. Greenmount Station did an outstanding job with the food, so thank you to all the kitchen staff and servers for a very enjoyable luncheon. Our public relations coordinator has been busy highlighting our sponsors on the Facebook page and will also be running features for the vendors. Please be sure to support these generous community members. The Farmers Market Advisory Team met on May 2nd in preparation for opening day, which is June 4th from 8:30 to noon next to the North Carroll Panthers water tower. The market's going to be giving away these nice tote bags. If I can get the thing open. So these tote bags are going to be given away to the first 100 customers.
That's tricky.
It's tricky, right? So it's got the market logo. And so come early and stay for the ribbon cutting, which will be at 9 a.m. And enjoy some music and some shopping while you're there. And we look forward to seeing everybody on June 4th.
There'll be a ribbon cutting, right?
Yes, ribbon cutting at 9.
Diggity. Wayne?
The Hampstead Trade Station Committee is getting ready for the opening day, which is going to be Hampstead Day, the 21st. Also, our music in the park, we've got almost all of our bands booked. June 5th, hopefully the pavilion will be ready by then. Music by Just Us is going to play. That's most appropriate. Lou Kaiser, who heads that band, is a Main Street resident, former mayor of the town of Hampstead. And then on July 9th, we got Best Regards. July 23rd, we have $20 Profit. August 13th, we have Middle Sister. August 27th, we have Bootleg. September 10th is not filled yet. And then we're going an extra week this year because we're starting late. We're going to have Hickory Wind on the 24th to close out the season. So, looking forward to that. On the Tree Commission, rather than doing a spring planting, we're going to do a spring cleanup. We've done an awful lot of planting over the last 5 years. We're going to go around and pick up some of our stakes and some of the cylinders we have around the trees now that they're not needed anymore. And we're hoping to get the North Carroll Farm Section 5 all secured with their owning of a tree forest before the end of the summer.
Cool.
So that's all I have.
Great. Deb?
Okay. The Hampstead Planning and Zoning Commission met on Wednesday, April 27th, where they approved a temporary banner for J&B Restaurant, the Chef Jeff Experience at 841 South Main Street, where the Ricky's used to be. And Carroll County Department of Planning update was that they are fully staffed, and we will be getting a new liaison, Andrew Gray, and they're working on their comprehensive rezoning.
And Andrew, if memory serves,
Yes.
Yes.
lives here. We all know him, and he used to work for Westminster. So, good for us. All right, Dave, your turn.
Okay, last 2 weeks ago, I attended the MML Board of Directors meeting along with the mayor. I'm sure we have something to say on that. Couple things going on right now. As far as the park goes, we spoke to Sparks Playground Company, and they said that they're having a problem with attaching the town seal to the new pagoda that we're putting up. and they're trying to come up with a way to be strong enough to be able to hold the town seal, I guess, for wind and what have you. So they're going to make some changes to the design, I believe. Also, there's been a delay in the shipping of the structure. It won't be shipped now until May 9th, so it probably should arrive around May 16th. And the contractor has got everything prepared right now for ground, and all the footers are put in, so he'll be able to continue with his grading and putting up the pavilion once it gets here. One final thing, we did get 3 scholarship recipients on the MML scholarship for Carroll County. It's Juliana Dickey, lives here in Hampstead, goes to Manchester Valley High. Cheyenne Schofield, Francis Scott Key High School, lives in Tawnytown, and Juliana Lopez lives in Sykesville for Century High. This was our largest scholarship pool coming in this year that I've ever had, and I talked to the person that did it previously. I had almost 20 this year that came in, which is awesome. Sometimes I'm getting just a few, so this is great. So these ladies will be able to will be at our conference dinner and within 2 weeks for the chapter, and we're going to present them with their scholarships.
Did you ask how they heard about the scholarship? Or maybe we know the best way to reach out to them?
Well, this is what I did. Last meeting, we were talking about how we hadn't gotten any. So I just went through and called every high school and talked to every principal a couple days before and said, I need some scholarships. So worked out pretty good.
All right, good. Ben?
Okay, for water, last month in April, the water usage was 352,000 gallons per day. So far in May, it's 334,000 gallons per day. And rainfall total in April was 2.88 inches, and in May so far is 3.66 inches. All fire hydrants and blow-offs were flushed April 20th and 21st, and we also repaired some water leaks on Gill Avenue, Native Chestnut Road, and Lower 40 Drive, and Hillcrest Street. So that's our water report.
Good. Yeah, we're due 3 weekends at least with no rain. All right. Chief, police report. Just lost Jonathan.
I hope he comes back. Good evening, everyone. During the month of April, we investigated 11 traffic accidents. 5 were reportable, 6 were minor property damage only, and we had no crashes reported at the 482 traffic circle. 6 crashes took place on Main Street, and we had the speed sign out at 8 locations for a total of 79 days of display. Traffic enforcement included 57 selective enforcements over a period of 51.5 hours. 5 citations and 34 warnings were issued during that activity, and overall traffic enforcement included 25 citations and 135 warnings. We conducted 402 property checks of businesses and schools. With reference to serious crime, we investigated 2 thefts that were under $500 in value, 1 assault of second degree that was a domestic-related assault, 2 assaults of the second degree, and we had 17 thefts from unlocked vehicles, both in Robertsfield as well as North Carroll Farms, overnight during the weekend between 3 and 5 o'clock in the morning. And again, we say this every year, but these were all unlocked vehicles. I can't say that enough to folks. We have to lock our cars. With reference to arrests, we took into custody 1 adult for assault of second degree. It was a domestic-related incident. 1 adult was arrested for an open warrant. 2 adults were taken into custody for shoplifting, and 2 adults were charged with traffic offenses. Training included 8.5 hours, various topics. We also, Officer Wilt completed the LPR course, the basic operator course. That refers to the automatic license plate reader that we have on one of our cars. Community events included attendance at the Brandywine Valley HOA, Robertsfield HOA, and we also participated in the Hampstead Merchants Association meeting at Pipe the Side.
Questions for Chief? Thank you.
Thank you.
My report, so you heard some of it from Tammy. I'll start with the help wanted. Try to help out our Public Works Department. But one of our long-term employees will be retiring at the end of this year. Another one who started with us, how many years ago? 6 years ago, decided to try another, something else related to elevator inspections. So we wish him well with the ups and downs of that career. Pun intended. So, but we have basically an opening for a water system operator, and you don't need to be a water system operator to start. We'll train you up. But basically, starting pay is $18.50 to $19.50 an hour. By my math, that's a little over $38,000 on the low end. High school graduation required. Basically, we're looking for somebody who's motivated, good with math, because you're going to be involved in our water system and chemicals related there too. We'll train you. We'll pay you to train. You got to be willing to drive a snowplow. You get paid overtime for that. You get parental leave, you get paid holidays, you get vacation, personal and sick leave, and you get all the life insurance and benefits that come with it. So if you're out there, or if you're somebody listening to this and you know there's maybe a young person that wants to come to work for us, we're all ears and would love to take a look at that application. And Tammy mentioned that we're working on the online application because people apparently hate filling out paper applications these days, but whatever, we'll get up to speed. That's my pitch for Help Wanted. Chief's pretty much taking care of the other part of that. We're good. We still do the rolling thing, right? Yes. So if you want to be a police officer in the town of Hampstead, where we actually appreciate the job you do, you can check that out online as well. I went to the Hampstead Volunteer Fire Company last night, gave them a quick update on everything that's going on around town, and presented them with our annual check that every year is in our budget. We also, part of the budget this year, we probably ought to look at making a contribution to their capital campaign. Dave mentioned the Maryland Municipal League Board that we went to in Annapolis last week. Lots of discussion about their budget. It's that time of year. And the legislative successes and what we're going to do in the future. We finally won highway user revenue money. I've talked about that on several occasions up here, where that's the money when you pump gas here locally, a certain amount of that comes back to us when you pay that state tax, even though we got 30 days off from that tax. We finally have a budgeting formula that will pretty much fully fund us for the next 5 years. So the conversation at MML is, what are we going to do for what's our next focus? One of the things talked about was police aid. If they're going to make us do all these things related to the Police Reform Act, they ought to come up with a little money. Next week, we're going to be at the Carroll County Municipal League is going to have a joint chapter meeting with the Frederick County group. That's 10 other towns, and that'll be held in Mount Airy at Chaladon. Memorial Day is right around the corner. The American Legion is hosting their memorial service back on Main Street, 9 o'clock sharp. It's 20 minutes tops. And Chief, we're going to shut down Main Street this year for that 20 minutes. So there's no tractors, no trucks going by during that time. Usually, it'll be interesting to see after a 2-year hiatus, but hopefully we have, 250 or so people standing there. But it's, very poignant. You get off the day for the real reason of the holiday, for remembering all those who gave their lives in service to our country. Budget prep is, we're going to introduce a bunch of ordinances and resolutions here at the end of this meeting related to that. We're going to have a budget workshop right here on May 17th, next Tuesday, I believe. We'll go through that budget line by line in exquisite detail, and I would assume it'll be recorded as well. We've had a few people attend those meetings over the years, but not very many. I'll get into the budget when we have the public hearing and do it again next year, but inflation's hitting everybody hard. That's it for my comments. So there's a few things on the agenda today. There's nothing under unfinished business, but the new business, May, we typically recognize some of our police officers, and then over the past year, we've had 3 new ones and 2 relatively recent new ones, so we want to recognize them as well. So, Chief Snyder, I'll turn it over to you.
Appreciate council and the mayor giving us a few minutes here to talk about offer on. There we go. How's that? I always have a problem with this.
Well, you got to speak into it now.
You told me to turn it on. I'll speak loudly. I appreciate everybody taking a few minutes from the council's agenda and all to let us talk about something that I like to talk about all the time. I have an opportunity. I have a great job. I really do. Because I get to work with a lot of great people every day. And whenever I have an opportunity to share some of what I get every day with the general public, we take that opportunity. A few things we wanted to accomplish tonight. We wanted to talk about accommodation, and I see that the officer who were going to issue the accommodation had to run and go to a call. So I'm going to talk about him anyway. Hopefully he comes back. We can shake his hand and take a picture with the mayor and myself. Unfortunately, though, there's a lot of times when we have full plates, so we can't always stand around. Actually last year in October, there was a bank robbery that took place over in Westminster. And I'm going to read the commendation in a second, but in the world of police commendations, we have to sort of condense everything to make it fit, and I don't think we always get the appreciation of what went into what was really good police work. On a daily basis, we get more information given to us than we could really possibly imagine. I send these guys on a daily basis wanted posters, informational bulletins, people we're trying to identify. And in all fairness, I realize that at some point in time, it kind of all runs together. But on this particular day, two of our officers, Officer Bachman, unfortunately Matthew can't be here. He is on a National Guard assignment. It's taken him out of the area. And Corporal Cranshaw, who was here until about 5 minutes ago, and I really don't know what the call is, but hopefully he'll come back. They were on duty. They were working the afternoon shift. They received a whole collection of information, including descriptions from a bank robbery that took place in Westminster earlier in the day. They responded out to the Rockbrook trailer park to assist the sheriff's office with calls out there. And while they were trying to hash this whole thing out, there was a series of folks in the middle of the street. There was a lot of yelling going on. They were trying to figure out and sort everything out. There was a collection of cars associated with the reason why we were there, as well as police cars. And for whatever reason, this particular vehicle, rather than turn around and go another way or just avoid everything that was going on, decided to drive right through the mix of what was going on, to the point where the officers had to step out of the way. Drive very slowly. And as they did, it's really difficult for me to do it justice because on the video that's associated with it, it's very interesting when I hear Officer Bachman turn to Corporal Cranshaw and say, "I think that's the bank robber." And the response was, "You got to be kidding me." Even the guy who we were there trying to deal with says, "Really?" Long story short, they ended up stopping this car. They identified the folks that were responsible for the robbery, recovered some of the proceeds. It was a great job. So I'm going to take a minute here and I'm going to read the actual official commendation, so it's part of the record. On Thursday, October 7th, 2021, two subjects committed a bank robbery at the Farmers and Merchant Bank branch in Westminster, Maryland. The suspects fled the scene in a vehicle, upon which descriptions were broadcast to area law enforcement. Later that day, while assisting the Carroll County Sheriff's Office with a suspicious subject at the Rockbrook Trailer Park, PFC Bachman observed a vehicle attempting to cautiously navigate through a narrow area due to increased police activity. As it passed, he was able to closely observe the vehicle and its occupants and immediately recognized it as matching the description provided from the Westminster incident earlier that day. He advised the supervisor, Corporal Cranshaw, and a traffic stop was initiated. The vehicle and both the occupants were positively identified as the subjects involved in the earlier bank robbery. Additional evidence as well as the proceeds were recovered from the traffic stop. The actions of police work exhibited by Corporal Cranshaw and Officer Bachman were of the highest tradition of police service, and as such, they're both being recognized with a combination of merit with the police department. And if he was here at this point in time, I would shake his hand and ask him to come down and say,
We'll still clap. Hopefully, if he comes back, we'll just say, "Hey, there he is," and give him a round of applause.
we will do that. If I could, I want to introduce you folks to a couple of our new folks here. Some people have already met him. I'm going to ask Scott Krager to come forward, Samantha Reese, and Vince.
Just Vince.
Just Vince.
We're going to try to squeeze in a badge ceremony tonight, but before we do that, I just want to introduce you to some of our new officers here. Vince has been here with us for a little bit, and I'll get to him in a minute, but we'll start out with Scott. Scott Krager is originally from Tacoma Park, currently resides down in Sykesville. He has 3 daughters and 1 son. Two of his daughters are here with us tonight, Kendall and Logan. He did 5 years in the Navy, so it can't be all that bad. He also did 10 years with the Metropolitan Police Department in D.C. He also did 12 years with the Laurel, Maryland Police Department, completing his service there as a patrol supervisor. He has an extensive resume. As I said, he was a patrol supervisor. He's been a SWAT officer. He's done narcotics advice, plain clothes experience. He's been a firearm instructor. He brings a wealth of knowledge to the police department, and we're really happy to have him on board. Samantha Reese is with us as well. She's originally from Lancaster County. She has probably half of the audience here today, right? Including Charlie in the back. She did 8 years with the Hagerstown Police Department before coming here. She's a field training officer. She's been trained in interview and interrogation techniques. She's had some surveillance training, and she's also done some extensive plainclothes vice-related work up in the Hagerstown area. And last but not least is William, officially William Vincent. We call him Vince. Now, Vince has been with us for a little while, and one of the reasons why he is here tonight is he's sort of been a victim of COVID. In a lot of ways, he got shortchanged. Usually, when typically what happens is when you complete the police academy, there is a ceremony. Usually at the police academy. Later on, there's some type of badge ceremony or recognition. In my career, this is the first time this has ever happened. Vince didn't have any of that. The way his academy ended is I got a phone call, I think on Wednesday afternoon, and said, hey, we're done. We told him to come see you tomorrow and take all his stuff with him. And they ended it that way, and it was a result of a COVID issue. So it was a little different experience, and I've always thought you've gotten shortchanged in the whole process. So this is our attempt to try to make up a little bit for what you really didn't get and what you deserved earlier, certainly last year when you graduated. Vince is from here in Hampstead. He's a 2013 graduate of North Carroll. He has had a whole host of jobs. The reason I say that is because I can't go on a call with him without somebody knowing him. All right, and a lot of times, it's not people, it's for a whole host of reasons. He works over at Dick's, he worked at High's, Walmart, worked for J&J Trash. The other day, he told me he worked for a pig farmer for a while, which was an interesting conversation in and of itself. He was an intern here at the police department 10 years ago. And from there, he went on, he was a cadet with the Baltimore County Police Department. Ultimately, he ended up at the Frederick County Sheriff's Department as a correctional officer. And in 2020, he came back here to start the process with us. Technically, he graduated in 21 from the training academy down in Sykesville. He's been out on the street, but we're bringing him back so we can do this tonight. And I guess one of the things that I find really everybody's going to get it. Badge ceremonies are kind of an important thing, I think, for not just the officer involved, but for the police department, for the community as well. And folks here, some of us, you've heard my rap on this previously, and I think it's important just to bring it up every so often. That I remind people that, that probably one of the most visible symbols of being a police officer is a badge. Everybody gets it, right? Whenever you meet family members, little kids, they always see the badge. And sometimes we forget, even though we think of this as our own, it really isn't, right? We're issued a badge, we're given a badge number, and we're really kind of the custodian of this for however long we have it. And it becomes our obligation to make sure that we're doing what is appropriate to live up to the standards of this, because the badge really doesn't belong to any of us here. It doesn't belong to the council, it doesn't belong to the mayor, it belongs to everybody who sits out here that lives in the town. And you've decided, okay, we're going to have a police department, and we're going to give you the authority and what you need to do your job. And as a result, we're going to trust you with this badge, which is actually the community's badge. It's not our badge. And I say that because sometimes as cops, I think we forget there's roughly 360, 370 million people in the country, something like that. Little less than 1 million people get an opportunity to do what you guys are doing. So you got to remember all the responsibilities that come with that. And as a result of that, that's one of the reasons why we take an oath. Now, these guys have already taken the oath of office in private, but this is a public sort of version of that. And I think it becomes important so the public understands that these folks are committing themselves to a certain set of ideals. And they do that by publicly stating an oath. And one of the things we're going to do here that's a little different than some of the other badge ceremonies is the public doesn't always realize that these guys didn't get here by themselves. Right? They have people that are sitting out here, the important people in their lives or families, that help them get to the point where they can do this. And in this profession, people don't always appreciate that it is a profession that affects their entire family. So in a minute here, I'm going to ask you guys to bring up whomever you want from the family. They're going to participate in this along with you as the mayor swears you in, and then ultimately there's an opinion. And one of the reasons why I say that is because it affects every part of your life. People don't appreciate that these folks will be working on holidays. They're going to have certain events that they're going to miss that they'd like to be to, but they can't because they have some type of obligation associated with their job. Invariably, if you plan to make a social event after you get off work, you're not going to get off work on time. All right? You're going to be tied up till God knows what time, and you're going to miss that event. Family members who have done this for a while understand that, you know, every now and then, maybe Thanksgiving is on the 24th or the 26th at your house because your loved one has to work on the 25th. All right? Or you open Christmas presents, you know, at a little different time than other people. It impacts your family, and that's why I'm going to ask you guys to have somebody come up, all right, so the mayor can swear you in, and I'm not going to go on any longer. Mayor implied sometimes I might have a tendency to talk a little. So swing around if you would. If you guys would, whoever you're going to have from your family come up here, and I'd like them to stand here with you.
How are you? Doing great. Scott? All right, good. Everybody doesn't have to write the right hand, it's just the people in blue. And, yeah, the chief goes on about this, but it means a lot to me too, because my dad was Baltimore City, my uncle was Baltimore City, so I know firsthand, you know, what goes into being a police officer. So, I state your name.
I, Scott Turner.
William Wilk.
Thank you. Do swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
Do swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States.
And that I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland.
And I will be faithful and bear true allegiance to the state of Maryland.
The town of Hampstead.
The town of Hampstead.
Support the Constitution and laws thereof.
And support the Constitution and laws thereof.
That I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
I will, to the best of my skill and judgment,
diligently and faithfully, without partiality or prejudice,
without partiality or prejudice,
execute the office of police officer of the Hampstead Police Department
execute the office of police officer of the Hampstead Police Department
according to the Constitution and laws of the state.
according to the Constitution and laws of the state.
Congratulations.
Forget it. Hand over the badge.
I did the same exact thing last time.
It's all good.
Yep.
You guys can come up and do it closer.
You don't bite.
Hold on, let us get out of the way.
Don't worry about it.
Yeah, we shouldn't photobomb.
I know. We'll go over here.
Or maybe we should.
It's all right for you guys to be looking
That's right.
professionally in the back. Are we doing a group shot?
Yes, please.
Yeah. Come on around this way a little bit more. Squeeze over. Go on over.
Come on, Charlie.
Right here, like the light. Where are we going? Judy? Great. Congratulations again. Thank you.
Let them clear out.
There's one more thing we want to do tonight. Mr. Howell, come on up here.
I need something on here that says Doug.
Fingernail.
I talked a little bit about how the badge symbolization, how what it symbolizes rather, and the importance of community. But the other side that makes a successful police department is the community and how it contributes to the overall success of the organization. Right? You know, there's a lot of theories in policing and all, and back to the whole development of the concept of a professional police department. And Peel talks about how police department is the community is the police department, and a person that really represents that is Mr. Heller. Now, I don't want to go on. I'm going to let the mayor talk a little bit more, but I will tell you one of the first people that I met and had an opportunity to have a conversation with since I came here was Doug. And I've enjoyed every conversation. He did give me a heart attack the one time when he stood up and told the joke about I stopped him and his ex-wife in the back. That made me really nervous. I've enjoyed every conversation I've had, and as you know, talked in the last council meeting, Doug made a significant contribution to the police department. It's going to help us in the long run with a lot of different things that we would like to accomplish. And as such, I just want to take a real quick minute, if we could, and recognize him for that. And basically present him with this plaque. I'll read it in grateful appreciation to F. Douglas Carroll, for your generous donation and continued support of the Hampstead Police Department, presented on May 10th, 2022.
Let me say one thing. The police department vehicles here are the most professional, best appearing, and sexist vehicles I've ever seen. I don't know who's responsible for doing all the lettering and so forth, but they're beautiful. Thank you.
All right, one more. So we can't let it go just with a plaque. I've known Doug since we were competing on the softball field way back in the day. This team's usually got the better of us. They were much more well-funded. Town of Hampstead proclamation, whereas F. Douglas Harold has been an extraordinary supporter and advocate for the town of Hampstead and for countless years. And whereas Doug Harold has always been an integral part of the business community of Hampstead and has served as a mentor for many local business owners in Hampstead. Whereas the Harold family has contributed to the community by partnering with and donating to many worthy organizations, including the Hampstead Volunteer Fire Company and the Hampstead Police Department. And whereas the town considers itself fortunate to have Doug Carroll and his family as part of Hampstead, and the town appreciates and recognizes his many years of partnership and dedicated service to the town of Hampstead. Therefore, I, Christopher Nevin, Mayor of the town of Hampstead, do hereby proclaim that May 10, 2022 shall be known as Doug Carroll Day in the town of Hampstead. There's your official key to the city.
I don't know if I want to do a job or not. Well, there's other things that enter into the picture is the professionalism and the attitude and the work ethics of the officers of this town. You're looking at some of the finest stuff here. I've been around a few years. I'm only 33 years old, but no July. And I've never been to a town council meeting or a town meeting that brought out so much as this town does. And that's one reason why I'm happy to be part of Hampstead.
Thank you.
Gary.
The fun part of the job that as public officials up here, we get to do. You know, a lot of thought, time, and energy goes into the people who fill the positions, the 3 new positions, and for Jonathan and Matt and the job they've done. And, you know, our police department, I'll stack them up against anybody. And they truly get it, that, you know, with the authority they're given, the responsibility that comes with it, as well as the discretion that comes with it. And you know, for every 1 complaint, I hear 10 compliments. And that goes for the public works staff and for the town staff here as well. Everybody really adopts a can-do attitude, and it makes all of our jobs that much easier. I mean, if I was getting interrupted every time I went to a local restaurant or grocery store, I wouldn't be the mayor for long, because my wife would say enough of that. So it really means a lot to the employees who work here and to the support we're given by the community. So thank you, Doug. All right, so now we have to do some business. Award of a contract for a walking trail replacement. Tammy?
I was happy that we had received, 7 bids. So we're glad that a lot of people expressed interest in the walking trail at Chief Sites Park. That's well overdue for replacement. The lowest bid was from White Pine Paving Incorporated for $15,875. We have done business with White Pine before. They do an excellent job, and that is our recommendation to council.
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. All right, and then we have the award for contract for production and installation of monument signs, for which there were 2 bids. Tammy?
We received, as the mayor just said, 2 bids. We had given an example, or kind of like an idea of what we would like to see. And the lowest bidder, WJ Strickler Sign Company, came up with an original idea of changing it a little bit. More of an L-shaped type of sign. And then we had, the second bid was from Shannonbaum Signs.
I don't know if the camera can pick that up. Go ahead.
Yeah, see, I don't know if they can pick
That's
this
all
up,
right,
but
but-
anyway.
We're recommending Strickler.
Yeah, so we're recommending Strickler. It was the lowest bid at $32,440, and we had 2 requirements, of course: the cost, the bid, and also the idea. And we do like their idea of the example for the sign.
Yeah, I think it's excellent.
I like that a lot.
I like it too. So, and, you know, everything we put out talks about our town. We've been doing it for as long as I've been around here. It's sort of like our what? Tagline, sure. And I think the put it on the signs is great. And we're replacing the 2 signs, one north, one south, that are well beyond their sell dates. In fact, the one at the north end collapsed. So is there a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you.
And just to let everybody know, then we will make the emblems for the American Legion, the Lions Club, and the fire department to then be added
Okay.
at a later date.
To the brick or to the stone?
I don't know. That's still up in the air.
All right. Introduction of the fiscal year 2023 budget. This is the budget we're going to introduce. We're going to have a budget workshop next Tuesday. We're going to have a public hearing before the next council meeting, at which point it'll be adopted after that. So is there a motion to introduce the fiscal year 2023 budget?
So moved.
Second.
Take your pick on the second. Any further discussion of this? The tax rate's staying the same, water rate's staying the same, inflation's a bear, and, but we've managed, I think, very well, and we'll go into more detail in our budget prep and our public hearing. All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. I don't think there's any other new businesses, ordinance and resolutions. We have, I think, 3 related to the budget and water rates. Introduction of ordinance 542, which is an ordinance for the levy of taxes for the fiscal year 2023, which stay unchanged at 22 cents.
So moved.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. Introduction ordinance 543, which is an ordinance to adopt the annual budget of the town of Hampstead for the period July 1, 2022 to June 30th, 2023.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? All right. And then the final one related to the budget, introduction of resolution 2022-03, a resolution maintaining water rates at the same level as they've been. I think this will be about the 3rd year that we've done this.
So moved.
Second.
Go with second from Diane. I'll just say that with ARPA and the money we received from that, we've been able to, and we talked about it in the last newsletter, we've been able to fund a significant number of improvements with the laterals for the water mains from 1936, with the asbestos pipe that just already broke that runs down Gill that runs over to here. And there's a couple of other things in the wind that I think we'll be able to set our water system up. Not that there won't be some capital improvements, but there won't be any 7-figure capital improvements, hopefully, for a few generations here. So, all those in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? Thank you. And then finally, adoption of the Charter Amendment Resolution 2022-02, a resolution updating the minimum cost of which a purchase or a contract is required to go to the bid. That's the increase from 10 to 20 that we had the public hearing on where there were no comments.
Motion to adopt.
Second.
Roll call.
Councilwoman Barrett,
Yes.
Councilwoman Painter,
Yes.
Councilman Thomas,
Yes.
Councilman Unglesby,
Yes.
and Councilman Zolman.
Yes.
Thank you. And that'll go into effect, what, we got 30 days before that goes into effect, I believe?
45.
50 days, okay. Maybe we should amend that as well. 50 days, and that'll be adopted. But that, I think, well past date to increase that amount. And we did check with several of the other towns in Carroll County, and we're right in line. Public comments. Most everybody's here for the police. But anybody else? Doug?
I wanted to ask, when do you expect the town signs to go in the ground?
We just, obviously, just approved a bid that we received, that we opened last Friday. So we will meet with the person that was awarded the bid, and we just don't know with supplies. I don't have an idea right now. I might have an idea sometime next week.
Soon, we hope.
Yeah, soon, that's all I can
As soon
say.
as possible.
The only other remark I have is, I fail to recognize Kevin Hand. He and his department do a super job. We appreciate that too.
That they do. The unsung heroes in the background, that just, everybody knows when their street gets plowed, obviously, right? But not so much when they turn the water on and how much work goes into that. All right, any other public comments? Take a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
So moved Diane.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Thank you very much. Good meeting.